Gentlemen, let me be blunt. After age 60, most men believe their prostate grows simply because of age. But the shocking truth is this. Your prostate is not expanding because you are getting older. It is expanding because of one daily habit that almost every man over 60 does without even realizing it. And this habit is quietly suffocating your prostate, forcing it to grow larger and larger until one day you find yourself unable to empty your bladder, waking up every hour at night and feeling like your manhood is slipping away. I am Doctor, a urologist, and men's health specialist with more than 3 decades of experience. I've spent my life helping men protect their prostate, restore their vitality, and keep their dignity intact well into their 70s and beyond. I've sat across from thousands of patients, men who look just like you, and I've seen firsthand how one overlooked lifestyle choice can turn their golden years into years of frustration and fear. Here's the paradox. Many men think prostate problems are inevitable, just another curse of getting older. But that's not true. Some men remain strong and symptom-free even at 80. The difference is not luck, not genetics, it's the daily choices they make. And there is one destructive choice, one habit in particular that fuels prostate growth more than any other. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I will reveal exactly what that habit is. When you stop it, you'll notice fewer bathroom trips, stronger flow, deeper sleep, and even greater confidence in the bedroom. And I promise before this video ends, I'll share not only what this habit is, but also the simple, practical steps you can take tonight to undo its damage. Your freedom depends on it. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video designed to protect your prostate and your health. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0. And let me know how I can improve these videos for you. Now, let's dive into the truth about why the prostate really grows after 60. It's not simply your age or bad genetics. There's a hidden mechanism at work quietly fueling this enlargement. And once you understand it, you'll see why so many men suffer unnecessarily. Why the prostate grows after 60, the hidden mechanism 1. Why the prostate grows after 60, the hidden mechanism. When I sit across from men in my clinic, I often hear the same words. Doctor, I guess it's just age catching up with me. They say it with a kind of resignation, as if the problems they are experiencing are simply unavoidable. And I understand why they feel that way. After all, their statistics are staggering. By the time men reach their 60s, the majority will experience some form of prostate enlargement. But let me tell you something I share with my patients. It's not just age. Your body does not betray you out of nowhere. The truth is, the prostate grows because of a very specific set of signals and pressures. And those signals are strongly influenced by the choices you make every single day. Here is how it really works. The prostate is an incredibly sensitive gland. It responds instantly to hormones, particularly the delicate balance between testosterone and estrogen. As you age, this balance naturally begins to shift. Testosterone dips while estrogen slowly rises. That imbalance alone makes the prostate more vulnerable. But it doesn't stop there. When circulation slows down, when inflammation quietly builds in your body, when your metabolism starts working against you, the prostate receives a constant message to grow. Think of it like a fire that is smoldering. Every unhealthy habit you repeat throws another log onto the flames. Over months and years, the gland expands, pressing against your urethra and turning something as simple as emptying your bladder into a nightly struggle. I've seen the toll it takes on men. They come to me exhausted, embarrassed, and sometimes even angry. They can't sleep through the night. They're afraid to leave the house without knowing where the nearest restroom is. They feel trapped by their own body. And yet, when I explain that, the enlargement is not purely fate, but the result of specific pressures, something changes in their EIS. They realize there is hope. They realize they have more control than they ever imagined. And that brings me to the most destructive pressure of all, the single daily habit that quietly fuels this entire process. And it's something nearly every man over 60 is guilty of without even noticing. Would you like to know what it is? 2. The worst habit of the worst habit of all. Sitting too much. Sitting too much. When I first began practicing medicine, I assumed prostate problems were mostly about hormones. But over the years, after listening to thousands of men share the details of their daily lives, I began to see a pattern. It wasn't just about what they ate or what pills they took. It was about how they lived hour after hour, day after day. And the one habit that stood out above the rest was how much time they spent sitting. Men would tell me they retired and enjoyed long afternoons in their recliners, or that they drove across the state to see their grandchildren, or that they spent evenings planted in front of the television. At first, these routines seemed harmless, even comforting. But the more I studied it, the clearer it became. Prolonged sitting was one of the most damaging things a man could do to his prostate. Why? Because sitting still starves your pelvis of fresh circulation. Blood flows low, oxygen delivery drops, and the prostate becomes like a plant left in dry soil. It becomes irritable, inflamed, and over time swollen. Add to that the hormonal changes already happening after 60, and you have the perfect storm. On top of that, long hours of inactivity contribute to belly fat, insulin resistance, and rising estrogen levels. All factors that directly fuel prostate enlargement, and I've seen the impact firsthand. Men who spend most of their day seated often come in with the most severe symptoms: constant urges to urinate, difficulty starting their stream, and a loss of control over the rhythm of their lives. I remember one patient in particular, a proud veteran who told me he spent most of his days in his favorite chair after retirement. Over the years, his prostate swelled so much that he could barely sleep more than an hour at a time. The sadness in his voice when he told me he avoided family road trips because he feared needing a bathroom every 30 minutes stays with me even now. And this is why I say sitting too much is the worst habit of all. It creeps into your life, quietly feels comfortable, even deserved, but slowly strangles your prostate health. The good news, once you understand this connection, you can take simple steps to reverse it. But before we get to solutions, let's look at what this habit truly costs men emotionally, because the damage goes far beyond the physical symptoms. Emotional truth, how this habit steals your life. 3. Emotional truth. How this habit steals your life. Over the years, I've witnessed something that breaks my heart more than any test result ever could. It's the way prostate problems slowly steal away the joys of living. The men who come to me are not weak men. They are fathers, husbands, veterans, hard-working Americans who built their families and communities with their own 2 hands. Yet, when the prostate begins to swell, when nights are broken by endless trips to the bathroom, when the stream becomes weak and unpredictable, I see the pride in their eyes dim. They begin to feel as though they are losing control of their bodies, and with that, a part of their dignity. One patient told me he no longer played golf with his friends because he was embarrassed about needing to run off the course to find a restroom. Another admitted that he stopped going on fishing trips with his son because the long drive was too much for his bladder. I could hear the frustration in their voices, but beneath it was something deeper. Fear. Fear that this was how the rest of their lives would look. Fear that they would be trapped by their own body, never free again to enjoy the simple pleasures they once took for granted. And it doesn't stop with missed activities. It creeps into their marriages too. Many men withdraw from intimacy not because they lack love for their wives, but because they feel embarrassed, less confident, even ashamed. When the prostate begins to control a man's days and nights, it can also erode his spirit. That to me is the true tragedy of this habit. Not just the physical discomfort, but the way it chips away at joy, freedom, and connection. But here's what's remarkable. Science has begun to show that breaking this destructive cycle is possible. Studies reveal clear links between lifestyle choices and prostate symptoms. And once you see the evidence, you'll understand why changing even small habits can restore not only health, but hope. So let's turn to the science and uncover the proof that confirms what I've seen in my own patients for decades. The science backs this up. When I talk about the dangers of sitting too much, I know some men may think I'm exaggerating, but I would never ask you to take my word alone. Science has spoken clearly, and the evidence is undeniable. At Harvard, researchers followed thousands of men and discovered that those who spent more than 6 hours a day sitting were far more likely to develop benign prostatic hyperplasia, the medical term for an enlarged prostate. The connection wasn't small, it was strong and consistent. At Johns Hopkins, another study revealed that men who engaged in even moderate daily activity, like walking, reduced their urinary symptoms by nearly a quarter. Think about that. Just moving. Your body a little more each day meant fewer bathroom trips, less straining, and more restful nights. The American Urological Association, the largest professional organization of its kind, now recognizes sedentary living as a real risk factor for prostate disease. This is not a casual opinion. It is the official position of the very doctors who devote their lives to this field. And when you dig deeper, it all makes sense. Movement fuels circulation, which delivers oxygen and nutrients to the prostate. Activity reduces inflammation, lowers belly fat, and balances hormones, all of which help keep the prostate calm and steady. On the other hand, hours of stillness send the opposite message, flooding your body with inflammatory chemicals, raising estrogen, and starving the pelvic region of fresh blood. I've seen this in my own practice. Themen who remain active, even in simple, gentle ways, are often the ones who come to me with fewer complaints. They sleep better, they urinate with less difficulty, and they feel more in control of their lives. And the men who sit for long stretches every day are theones who suffer most, sometimes even requiring surgery to find relief. This is why I say the science is not just a set of numbers in a journal. It's a mirror of what real men are experiencing every day. And once you know the truth, the natural question becomes, what can you do about it right now? That's exactly what we'll uncover next, because the steps to protect your prostate are simpler than you might think. 5. How to stop this habit. How to stop this habit. Today, when I tell my patients that sitting is the worst habit for their prostate, the first thing they ask is, "Doctor, what can I do about it?" And the answer is not complicated. You don't need to run marathons or buy expensive gym memberships. What your prostate needs most is movement. Simple and consistent. Start by breaking up your sitting. Set a reminder to stand up every 30 minutes. Even if all you do is walk across the room, stretch your legs or pace for a minute. You've already done your prostate a favor. That small act refreshes blood flow and relieves the pressure that builds when you sit too long. Another easy change is daily walking. I recommend 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking, the kind that gets your heart gently pumping, but doesn't leave you exhausted. I've seen men transform their nights just by committing to a short walk each day. One patient, a retired teacher, told me he went from getting up 5 times a night to only once, and accredited nothing more than his evening walks. You can also add light movements during the day, like standing calf raises, hip stretches, or gentle squats, while holding onto a chair for balance. These aren't workouts in the traditional sense, but they activate the pelvic muscles and encourage circulation right where it matters most. And don't forget the evenings. Too many men settle into their recliners after dinner and stay there until bedtime. Break that cycle. Stand during commercials, walk around the house, or even stretch while you watch the game. Small steps like these add up to powerful protection. And of course, pair movement with hydration and healthier food choices. A moving body flushes toxins more effectively, and when you support it with water and anti-inflammatory foods, the results multiply. The beauty of these solutions is that they are within your reach today. But what really inspires men to make the change is not just what they can do, but what they will feel once they start. And that's what we'll talk about next. They're remarkable improvements that happen when you finally break free from the chair. What happens when you stop sitting too much? 6. What happens when you stop sitting too much? I will never forget the look on a patient's face when he came back to see me 3 months after making a simple change. He had been one of those men chained to his recliner, waking up 6 or 7 times each night, convinced that surgery was his only option. But when he committed to standing every half hour, adding daily walks and moving more in the evenings, his story began to change. He sat across from me and said, "Doctor, I finally slept through the night." That moment reminded me that the body is always ready to heal when we give it the chance. When you stop sitting too much, your prostate begins to calm down. Blood flow improves, inflammation eases, and the constant pressure on your bladder begins to lift. Men often notice within a few weeks that the urgency lessens. They are no longer making endless bathroom trips during the day. Their stream feels stronger, steadier, and at night, they find themselves waking up once, or maybe not at all. A gift that restores their energy and mood. But the benefits don't stop with urination. Many men report feeling more confident in the bedroom because circulation in the pelvis improves overall. Erections are firmer, stamina is better, and the self-assurance they thought was gone begins to return. And beyond the physical, there is the emotional freedom. Imagine traveling without fear of finding the next restroom, golfing a full 18 holes with your buddies, or sitting through your grandson's baseball game without worry. These moments matter, and they return when you take back control from the chair. This transformation is not a miracle. It's the natural result of respecting how your body works. Your prostate is not your enemy. It's been signaling for help all along. When you listen and respond with movement, it thanks you. And this brings us to the final and perhaps most important truth. Because while breaking free from the chair changes everything, the real question is whether you will take control today or wait until the problem forces your hand. Final message. Take control today. 7. Final message. Take control today. Gentlemen, if there is one thing I hope you take from our time together, it is that your future is not written in stone. Too many men in their 60s and 70s assume they have no choice but to live with an enlarging prostate with restless nights, weak streams, and constant bathroom trips. But the truth I have seen over and over again is that small, deliberate changes can completely alter the course of your health. The worst habit, the hours you spend sitting, does not have to own you. You can break free from it starting right now. I have seen men who felt hopeless discover a new sense of control once they understood the power of movement. One retired firefighter told me that he never thought standing up every 30 minutes could matter. But within weeks, he noticed he wasn't waking up as much at night. A few months later, he was back on the golf course playing 18 holes without worry. His words were simple but powerful. "Doctor, I feel like I got my life back." That kind of transformation is possible for you too. Your prostate responds to the signals you send it. Every hour you sit in stillness, you feed the problem. Every time you choose to move, you send your body a message of healing and balance. It really is that straightforward. And as you begin to see the changes, fewer interruptions at night, stronger flow, more confidence, you will realize that you are not powerless. You are in control, and you always have been. So my message to you is this. Do not wait until the problem forces you into the operating room or leaves you chained to medications. Choose today to stand, to walk, to live differently. Protect your prostate. Protect your freedom. Protect the years ahead of you. I am Dr. Mohit Kara, and I can promise you this. When you decide to act, your body will reward you. Take control today, because your best years are still waiting for you.